Instagram story time.
Okay, we are receiving content. We must be live. What's going on, folks? We are
Howdy.
live.
Welcome back.
I'm not seeing it.
It's live. I see it. Hopefully, I'm on the right channel.
It might take a minute.
Hey, what's up, Duckalope Outdoors? See, we're live.
Duck Gun Chronicles is live.
Duck Gun Chronicles is live.
Oh crap!
You silly goose.
All right. Hey, if you're in here, go to the Flyways channel. We'll be back.
Change your stream key.
I did. It shows that. Are you guys sure?
Yeah.
I was just making shit up.
I didn't see it on the Flyways channel.
I never saw it pop up.
Wait a second.
Apparently some people did though.
I'm definitely on the Flyways channel. I want to make sure before I stop going live. Yeah, we're live on the Flyways channel. Freaking goobers. They are on the Flyways channel. All right. What's up, Magnolia Flyway? We're live on the Flyways channel.
We had to prank Jordan a little bit.
It's not pulling up for me.
It's on. If you just go to the
I can't
page,
see it.
Just go to our channel. I mean, we got people in there.
Yeah, it just says giveaway Flies Collective.
No, just go to the channel.
I am on the channel.
I'm on the channel. I don't see anything.
There it is. I refreshed it.
There you go.
Again and again and again until it showed up. I'm gonna drop a big old like on this live stream, and you guys should too.
Oh, there it is. Oh, that is a great thumbnail. Look at that.
The closest I've ever been to a pintail.
Jordan's staring at a pintail. Yep. Gotta give her the old thumbs up.
We're at 243 subscribers. That's pretty cool. I need to post a video on here.
You know what they say? The first 243 are the hardest.
Yeah. I need to post a video on here. I've actually been slacking pretty hard on filming videos.
It's hard to get motivation.
It is. But I think I've got some stuff planned out. But I don't know what to put on the Flyways channel.
I feel like July
Come
is
join us live on the Flyways Collective channel.
YouTube videos. I have always had that feeling.
It's so freaking hot.
Exactly. You never want to film them outside, and then it's like just a little bit too far away. You get to August, like, all right, it's go time. Got to go now. No more procrastinating.
Yeah.
See, I was thinking about doing some recaps of our Flyways collab from last year, and seeing, I don't know if people would be interested in that or not, but that was my thought.
Well, I hope you guys enjoy my videos because there was no audio.
That was literally the most cursed weekend in terms of camera equipment I have ever heard of.
Dude, it was so rough.
Dude, I had no audio too.
Every single person had some sort of camera issue, I believe.
I think this is the thing we learned, especially me and Josh learned this the hard way. If you're going to film for 4 days in a row, check your mic and audio after the first day. Because I literally, I didn't get to make 2 of my videos because it literally, like, I had to take, this is how I fixed mine. I literally had to take my find the exact clip on my GoPro and take the audio from the GoPro and overlay it over the vlog camera and match the audio perfect to my mouth. That took hours. Yeah, except for like I didn't have intros and outros though, because I wasn't wearing a GoPro.
Well, you can do those at home.
Yeah, you're right. I did that.
So here's a question. Just popped in here. When filming hunts, do you have your GoPro constantly recording or hit the button as they're coming in?
I constantly record.
I
See,
constantly record as well.
I do both. I have my head cam, I'll have it on, and then, if you start seeing birds, click, record on that, and then have a secondary cam and just have that constantly recording in case you don't get anything on your head cam or
I've
even the big
found,
camera.
yeah, I don't think you can really effectively do it without a stockpile of batteries. If you have like one or two batteries and you're trying to turn it on all day, on and off all day, you're just going to annoy yourself after about the second time of trying to do that. So I think it's definitely always worth the investment. If you're going to try and film videos, just buy enough batteries.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got at least like 8 or 9 or 10 GoPro batteries.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've learned over so many years of doing this that I am really bad about turning the camera on and turning the camera off. So maybe I'll turn the camera on, shoot some ducks and whatever, pick them up and forget to turn it off. And I thought I turned it off and I see more ducks coming. So I click it again and it's a whole mess. So I just started just recording the whole hunt on the GoPros, unless it's like really slow, and then I'll shut it off until we see some birds. But yeah, you got to have a big old stockpile. I need to get some bigger SD cards because I run a 64 gigabyte, and that usually holds 3.5, 4 hours of video because I film in 1080p 60. So
yeah, I just switched to 256 gig hard drives.
That's what I use.
Yeah, when you go to the Hero 8, you have to go 256 because like 2.7K at 60 on the Hero 8 out of 64 gigabytes, you get under an hour on one 64 gigabyte card.
Yeah,
1080p is good enough.
I think the thing about 4K, you're right. 1080p is good enough right now, but the thing about 4K is it future proofs it.
How's the low light on the 4K? Is it any better than 1080?
I think all around, just the image quality and the color science is better on 4K. Unfortunately for me, I tried doing 4K, but my computer just can't handle it right now, so I got to upgrade my computer before I can do 4K. But I like the idea of future proofing it. But you're definitely right. 1080p at 60 frames per second is all you need for YouTube currently.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
yeah.
we got another question, Josh, for you. What was your degree in, and what do you do at your job?
My degree was in business management, and I have a minor in biology. When I was in college, I started out as a biology major. I did that for like 5 semesters until I started getting into concentration courses with wildlife biology. Then I realized that was really kind of not fun, and it kind of took the fun out of being outside and doing all the sciencey stuff. So, and at that time, I was struggling in the classes, trying to make good grades, and it wasn't happening. And I was running the YouTube channel and the business and all that stuff. And so I was like, I'm going to just switch over to business because this seems to be what I'm good at. And so I started as biology, thought I was good at that, realized I wasn't, went to business, and did really well in business school. So at my job, right now I'm doing summer camp. So I've got 9 to 12-year-olds, and we're doing an outdoor camp every single day. It's not my favorite thing. It's not what I normally do in the summer. Just because of COVID, I kind of got rearranged at where I work. So kind of doing daycare stuff at this point. But normally I'd be doing like climbing and rappelling camps and fishing and canoeing. A lot of really fun stuff. But COVID kind of ruined that.
It's ruined a lot of things,
Mm-hmm.
as everyone knows.
Wear your damn mask.
Yeah, public service announcement. I want football this fall.
I want to get married.
Once I put my mask on for the first day of opening goose, it's not coming off until late goose. Just leaving my hunting mask on.
That's disgusting.
Well,
do you guys
Jordan,
wear masks when you hunt?
Face paint, and I have a beard.
Yeah, very rarely. If it's really cold, I have like a warm thing that covers everything but my eyes.
I've switched between face paint and the mask. There's downsides to the mask for sure, though.
Yeah,
I hate wearing a mask.
I hate wearing anything on my face when I'm hunting. And I like when it's cold outside and you're breathing hot air on yourself and it's like wet, it just no. Even things around my neck, I don't like that. It makes me feel like constricted. So you'll oftentimes see me just wearing a hoodie.
Yeah. Can we get
Wet.
back? Can we jump back to cameras? I'm curious what everybody upgraded their cameras to this year. If anybody did any upgrades.
Nope.
I was looking at the 360 or the GoPro 360 camera the other day because I was thinking if you just put it in the middle of your spread, couldn't it get everything then? Like every stationary shot of birds coming in you would ever need?
Yeah,
I mean, it probably wouldn't be great footage, but
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
actually bought one of the 360 cameras earlier this year, and then I've actually already sold it. So I used it to get like B-roll clips and all kinds of stuff like that. But the thing about the 360 cameras is it's just not quite there yet for the action cam style on the 360 because it's like 5.2K, but that's in the sphere. So if you take it down to if you cut it to like linear, it's like worse than 720. So it's garbage.
mm,
So give it a few years or a couple years or maybe a year if they can get it to like 8K or 8K plus, and then you crop it down to 1080p, then then what you said is accurate. Like you can get any image at good quality anywhere.
yep.
I haven't upgraded any of my cameras, except I did buy this one that I'm using as a webcam. It's a little Sony. I don't even remember what it's called.
Nice. I actually upgraded all of my cameras this year, everything,
What is it called?
and got a drone. So I'm pumped.
You got a drone?
Yep.
Can you use the drone wherever you want?
No. There's obviously laws and stuff like that, but you can use it some places. So it gets sweet footage.
Oh, it's a Sony RX100 Mark V. That's what I've got. Right
That's
here.
okay.
The audio on it's pretty crappy though, but the video is decent. Shoots 4K
Yeah.
in 5 minutes increments.
Mm.
But
I never
something
understood why cameras had to crop or like stop the recording times on when they go to 4K.
they'll overheat.
Yeah.
But yeah, this camera's nice because it's really good in low light. It's got a f-stop of 1.8, so I might try that out during duck season, seeing how it does in low light. But it also just fits right in my pocket. So if I'm out doing a vlog or something, I'm taking this thing because my Canon 80D is kind of heavy. It does really good video, but it's really big and bulky. But I haven't really done any kind of outdoorsy stuff with this camera yet. So we'll see how that goes.
Nice. Duckalope, you cannot use drones to scout, unfortunately.
You can in some
In
places.
some states.
but
Really?
Don't you have to wait like a full day before you hunt it?
Indiana, it's 14 days.
Yeah. I think Nebraska's about the same.
I mean, Virginia, up until like a year and a half ago, there was literally no law on it. You could do whatever you want, and then they basically just hard banned drones for anything waterfowl related. Like it went from all to nothing.
That's why I've never bought a drone. It'd be really cool to see like aerial photos of the decoy spreads, but
Yeah,
I don't know.
for looking at your hide from like a bird's eye view, they would be awesome. I think.
I've done it once
But-
and it was really cool.
I learned more about waterfowl behavior flying my drone than literally anything else has ever taught me. Like just being above ducks and looking at them from above gives you a whole different perspective, And I've spent probably 100 hours on that drone, so I probably have done it more than most. But I think if you do it enough, it really is super helpful.
So here's a question: do you guys rely strictly on GoPro footage for hunting, or do you guys do like I do sometimes, where like I'm in the blind and I'm filming the birds coming in? What do you guys like to do? Do you just mainly rely on the GoPro, or do you try to make a point to get the big camera out and film the ducks coming in?
I guess mainly just the GoPro, unless it's like a really good day and you're probably gonna have more flights. Then it's cool to get some of that B-roll, get other people shooting, or have you shooting and hand the camera off to your buddy or something. But most of the time, you don't know exactly how it's gonna go, so just like first thing you start off with the GoPro, or at least I do.
Yeah, I'd say in the past, mine's primarily been GoPro. I really don't get a lot of big camera footage of birds flying. I'll obviously pick it up like chief retrieving as much as I can and stuff like that. But I really do like how you wear it around your neck and you film them coming in and drop it to shoot. My problem is I feel like I'm always a caller or I'm just not in a position to film as much as I'd like on my own hunts or I'm solo hunting.
I actually don't put it around my neck. I hold the camera up, film it over the blind, wait until they're about feet down in the water, and I toss it in my blind bag and pick up my gun and shoot.
Oh, wow. It's impressive.
It's a skill.
Yeah.
It's really fun, though.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever done that with geese over water where you're just filming them, cupping in all the way?
No, but you've inspired me to try it. Actually,
Dude,
I actually tried it
so
today.
So much fun.
I tried it today.
It's more fun to film them coming in than to watch them coming in.
Yeah.
Because then you can relive it.
Nice. I tried it today on pigeons.
Focus. Manual focus on those things. Because your autofocus will focus on the grass and not the birds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I found that out.
Yeah. I've seen some people use autofocus, but I think it's definitely easier manual, like you're saying. Just focus in on like the decoys or something.
Yeah. Are you guys comfortable with having other people film you? Like handing your camera off to somebody to film a clip in the video? Like, I'm usually not very comfortable about that because I'm sure, like, there's this part in the back of my mind that's like, they're not going to film it the way that I want it filmed.
Yeah.
Or they're not going to have the right angle on the camera, or they're going to have like my head in the bottom part of it, or film from my top of my forehead down.
Mm-hmm. So I've had where I always like when I do that, I push record and hand it to them. But like because I've had people just literally point it at me and not push record. And then I've had the opposite now where every time I do that, I'm like, it's recording literally just pointing at me. And I've had people turn it off, like literally push the record button and turn it off. So yeah, it makes me nervous, but there's a few people I trust doing it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to have my GoPro on, so if I hand it off, and I've only done it a couple times, but if I hand it off and they don't get it, then I just won't use the footage, or I'll use what I can out of it.
I try to give my buddies a quick refresher if I'm going to ask them to use it, because I've had zero luck with just like, all right, hand, like you said, Josh, like they always get it out of crop or something's off. Like you got to at least give them a little, couple minute rundown on what to do, how to focus it, what to look for, or else they're just going to mess something up. It's just inevitable.
Yeah. I wish I had a camera guy. That'd be so much fun.
Yeah. That'd be
my videos would be so different if I had a camera guy.
Yeah. That's something I mentioned that would be cool if we ever got to the point like on a collab where we could literally have a cameraman film it and put it up on this channel, like just a different perspective, kind of like a cinematic version of our vlogging. I mean, you guys seen guys like John B, part of like the Guggen Squad, like his videos are like some of the most cinematic as far as like a YouTuber that does outdoor stuff on YouTube. And, having a camera guy like that to film our collab would be freaking awesome. Let alone,
you guys have any big plans for teal season this year?
I hunt pretty much every day I can. That's about it. We're really dry out here, though.
Are you? Are
Yeah.
you growing anything, though? Is anything growing in the wetlands?
Yeah, lots of crops currently. So, if we got a 5-inch rain, it'd be like legit flooded corn. Like they would be landing in between stalks at this point if it floods. But like I said, we need some rain.
I want to go out to the eastern shore of Virginia. I've heard it's really good teal hunting out there. So I think that would be cool. But I've also heard they have the worst mosquitoes in Virginia, and the mosquitoes I'm used to in Virginia are already pretty bad. So I'm not looking forward to that part of it. That's always the biggest detractor for me with teal and geese. I
Yeah,
hate being carrot.
you get the early season. What's your limit over there on early season geese? Because last year your regular season limit was like what, one?
Regular season 1 and early season is 10.
What, what kind of
Unfortunately,
logic is that?
basically, so we have 1.1 million geese in the Atlantic Flyway. 1 million of those are residential. Only 100,000 out of those migrate because we have so many park ponds. We have so many. The Eastern Flyway has just been developed for such a long time. So we just have a bunch of geese that basically live up and down in the United States, and most of them don't go to the Arctic. Like most of your geese in Kansas, those are near Arctic geese or boreal forest geese that make long migrations, and we just don't have those anymore. So they just base our limits for the regular season off the migratory population, and then the residential season off the residential population.
I love those big forest honkers. Those things are gargantuan. You guys ever shot one that's like a 7-foot wingspan? Like just the biggest geese you've ever seen. Like their head is as big as a beer can.
Yeah,
We've
it's
shot a
always
few.
fun. It's always funny to hold those ones head in your hands because it's like they're big when their head is bigger than your hand.
They won't fit in your game tote. Their heads are so big.
hmm
Yeah, we get early season goose as well, but we get 5. But still, I mean, 5 is a lot. Have you ever killed 10
New
geese,
York.
Hunter? Thomas?
No, I've never done it. It's hard to kill 10 geese in a hunt. That takes you have to be on some serious birds. I know one group of guys who the first day of September goose last year, they shot a 3-man 30 bird limit in like an
Jeez.
hour.
It's crazy.
So I got to link up with them this year.
Yeah.
It depends. So it depends on where you are and how many guys you got with you. Because in Kansas, our regular season limit is 6. So
Oh, yeah. I
last
forgot.
year, I mean, if we stuck it out all day, we would have scratched out a 6-man limit. So that's 36 geese. So if you got the right spot, it's pretty much doable. You just got to be able to make it happen.
And
Have you
shoot
guys
well.
have you guys ever done like a frozen pond goose hunt where you're hunting on the ice?
Yep.
Like with no water, just ice.
No.
I saw a video of somebody doing it the other day, like putting out a bunch of sleepers on ice. I think that would be a super cool way to hunt.
That is
Oh, yeah.
lethal.
That's what I want to do. I want to shoot geese off of a solid frozen pond. Like I've got the ice ripper. I can open up a hole and probably get them to come in. But I want to do it over like 4-inch thick ice.
Those thuds would be very satisfying.
And so like what was this 2015-16 season? We had a really hard freeze in January, and so I go out to the reservoir to check it out before the second half of the season opens in late January, and the whole lake is frozen up, like with 4 inches of ice. But there were little pockets of open water throughout the whole lake where the ducks have been just kind of hanging out and keeping the water open. One of the spots where the water was open was right where I had a blind built from the whole season, and we just kept adding onto it after every hunt. And so that hunt was really cool. We shot them up day after day out there, but we had some snow geese fly over really low, like a huge flock of them, and we got 2 of them to come down, but they crashed down onto that ice and spiderwebbed the whole thing.
Oh.
Like it was thick ice too, and I mean, just like a big 2-foot circle of just spiderwebbed ice from where that goose landed. That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I'm always nervous
Have y'all
about
ever
ice.
seen mallards landing directly on ice?
Mm-hmm.
I've only ever seen that once, but that was cool as all get out.
I see that a lot when I'm doing the ice ripper on ponds when we don't get a huge hole open. They'll sometimes land on the ice and then walk into the water.
Yeah, we definitely don't give them as much credit as they deserve for all the types of things they'll land on. I've seen them on house roofs. I've seen them landing in grain carts. I mean, they'll land in anything that they think has food in it or some sort of shelter.
Have you guys ever seen? I saw this for the first time ever with a mallard, but I saw a mallard nest on the top of like a hollow, like broken up tree.
I believe it.
And I
I
thought
haven't seen a mallard.
I thought that only wood ducks did that, but literally it was a mallard hen, just literally flew like into a hollowed out log at the top. There was a nest in there.
I haven't seen a mallard, but I've seen a Canada goose do that. I was mushroom hunting this year, and this like big tree, like just the whole top fell off, so it was just like a pretty much a tall stump, like probably a 15-foot tall stump. And I walking along this creek, and I see this one goose down there, and it saw me, and it's it straightens its neck out trying to hide, and I get closer, and it flies off, and don't think anything of it really. And I'm looking around this tree for some mushrooms, and this goose just flies out of the top of this tree, and I was like, "What?" Just scared the crap out of me. But that's the first time I've ever seen that.
Yeah, that's almost exactly like the mallard hen. Same type of tree, like a 15, 20-foot stump, and it had a nest in there. So I didn't know that was a thing for anything but wood ducks. So interesting to hear that.
Yeah, there's geese that always nest on the skyscrapers in this. Well, not skyscrapers, but like 30, 40-story buildings in my city, and their chicks always die. It's like y'all aren't figuring this one out.
Oh, jeez. Here's a good question. What's the worst thing about duck season?
The last day.
Having to wake up
super
when
early.
you haven't shot anything for the past 4 days, and like trying to convince yourself that this day's going to be different.
I'm the opposite. I'm trying to convince myself that it's going to be another skunk, so I don't have to hunt, but I end up
Another
doing
day
it
without a
anyway.
pintail.
What'd you say, Josh?
Pintail. I said another day without a pintail.
Another season, probably.
Yeah, the worst part about duck season is probably the repetitive early mornings. When I was in college, it was so easy to just wake up and go. And the older I get, the harder it gets.
Yeah, it gets worse. Just wait.
Yeah.
I saw we had a question about drilling holes in the ice to put out like socks and silhouettes and stuff. I'd say that's probably not a good idea, because if it's still below freezing when you do that and you hunt all day and it's still below freezing, your decoys will be frozen into the ice.
But if you don't drill far enough down into the ice to get like it wet, then they wouldn't freeze, right? If it's below freezing.
If you had
Probably
thick enough
not.
ice,
You need some really
you'd have
thick
to have
ice
some thick ice.
because of the wind.
I've heard people doing that. I've never tried it myself, but I actually wanted to try it. But that is a good thing to think about if they get stuck. I guess you just leave them.
We put a few silhouettes on some ice last year, but I mean, we only hunted for 2 or 3 hours, so they didn't get frozen.
I wonder if you could make. You guys ever seen those like silhouette floaters that they use out in like big lakes and stuff?
Like the
Mhm.
Y boards or whatever.
Yeah,
Like the ones
whiteboards.
that are like a cross and they got 4 decoys on them and they float and they're silhouettes.
Mm.
I wonder if you could make something like that and put it out on ice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good idea too.
Yeah.
It'd be
You
kinda
just have to
heavy.
hide the. Yeah, you'd almost have to use just like a heavy gauge wire, so they wouldn't see as much of the things holding them up.
Just paint them white.
Oh, that'd work too.
Mm-hmm.
And there is the first thing for a physical product.
Yeah.
That's trademark.
On the Susquehanna Flats, just north of me, like they hide behind those. That's their primary hide. They make big silhouettes that are big enough to hide behind, and that's how they hunt out there.
Out in Utah?
What's that?
What you
that
saying?
body called body booting or something?
So yeah, they wear like full body survival suits and hide behind these silhouettes. They're crazy, man. Out in the middle of this out in the middle of this river that dumps into the Chesapeake Bay.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
I want to do it this year. Got to get out there.
So here's a good question. I mean, this is a really good topic for this time of year, thinking about season coming up. Have you guys used neoprene and breathable waders, and do you have an opinion on either one?
Yes.
Yeah, me too.
So I used neoprene up until last year. I wore them out. I always got mine at Cabela's, and then won't go there. But I decided to look into some breathables. Did my research and ended up with the Frog Tog breathables. And holy crap, those things are the most comfortable waders I have ever had. I liken them to wearing a velvet waterfall. Like, sounds stupid, but that's just the first analogy that popped in my head when I put them on. And I'm not going back. I will never go back to neoprene. I just love breathables.
Right there with you. I love my Rogers waders that have the insulation you can zip in and out. So like early season, you don't have any insulation in there. It's like teal season, it's really hot. You don't want insulation in your waders. But like I did teal season in 1,600 gram insulation neoprene waders. That was hot.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember my first teal season with the the breathables. I was amazed at how much you can move in them and how not hot you were. But even in the really cold January hunts, when you put the insulation in the waders, you're super warm. And the nice thing about the breathables is you can layer up under them really easily because you can move in them so well. So you can layer up a little bit more than you would in neoprene and not feel like the Michelin Man.
Yep.
I've stuck with my neoprene because I've heard exactly that from everybody. So I'm trying to just like prolong the inevitable. As long as I don't know what breathables feel like, I'll still be okay with my neoprene. So we'll see how long it lasts before I make the switch.
See, the other thing about neoprene too that always bugged me is it feels like they're just falling off like all the time. They're so heavy.
They're
get
so
wet.
heavy.
They get wet and it like soaks in, and then it's terrible under freezing when it's because it literally freezes.
I feel like when I switch to breathables, it's going to be like, when you're in baseball and you take the batting ring off your bat, I'm just going to be running around the marsh everywhere because I'm not going to have that weight anymore.
That's a good analogy for it. That's a lot what it's like. It's,
yeah.
You're used to being bulky and heavy and just dragging your feet all the time. You throw the breathables on, you're like, whew,
Not only
weight was
that,
lifted.
I feel like neoprene with the seams, they have more issues with seams too.
Mm-hmm.
The seam leak is like a main thing with the neoprene because they're so heavy that it just like stretches.
I've heard a seam leak is a big thing with a lot of breathable brands too.
I don't think so.
It's
not from what
inevitable. Leaky waders are just it's a time game. I've never had a pair of waders that lasted more than 2 seasons.
I think
I have a question.
I think the big thing with the seams is if you can get one of those hydrosonic welded ones. And some of the major, I know fly fishing companies that have done that, like Sims, they have really high quality with the hydrosonic welded, but you can get that with other brands too at this point. So go ahead, Thomas.
Yeah, I had a question. I lost it. Dang it. Here, y'all go ahead. I'll come up with it again.
Is it something about fishing at night or something?
No, something about breathable.
Here's a quick question for Jordan. Picking up my new shotgun tomorrow, wondering if I put the oak nut sticker on my gun, will it help me kill more birds?
Yeah, but you probably won't kill more pintails. So
it repels them.
Trade-off.
Yeah. You'll be a merganser killing freak, but pintails, nah, not so much. Who was that from? Who was that from, by the way?
Jackson Woodworth.
Okay.
Yeah, my old college hunting buddy.
Nice.
For those who have used breathables, do you think they're less durable or more durable than neoprene in general, or about the same?
I'd say they're about the same.
Yeah, I've only had mine one season, so I really can't attest. Can't talk to the durability about them yet.
I'll say the ones
Yeah.
that have the brush guards on them, definitely as far as like that, like you're not gonna have as much trouble with, like puncture. But yeah, I think seam you can still have stretch in the seam, and if you can get up to hydrosonic welded, then you might be better off.
It really depends on how much you hunt. So like right here, you're asking guys, like I'm talking to the viewers here, you're asking guys who hunt a crap load throughout the season. So if you're just a guy who goes out like 5-10 times in a season, your waders are going to last you a long time, whether they're neoprene or they're breathable. But if you're somebody who hunts day in and day out of duck season, you're lucky to get waders that last you 2 seasons.
Here's a kind of on that same subject. I'm curious, do you guys keep track of your numbers, like how many days you hunted?
Yeah.
I don't. I just look at my videos and then I figure it out, but no, I don't.
So you're probably Thomas, you keep track of the number of hunts you do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. So yeah,
Is
how
there
many
a website we can do that easily on, Jordan?
There is freelance hunt stats.
Hey, there you go.
Okay. I'll send the bill to Elliot for that plug.
There you go. But I'm curious how many hunts you guys were on last year. You guys remember?
I think counting snow goose hunts, it would have been 61, 60, somewhere in there.
Thomas?
30. I've been in the 30s for the past 3 years.
Man, I thought 52 would be pretty good, but not with Matt in here. Josh, you got any idea?
I have no clue.
Under or over 50?
I want to say probably under 50.
Okay.
But
I know you
pretty
had
close.
would you probably had close to like 40 videos out?
Probably.
So do you
And some of my hunts I don't post.
okay. Do you post skunks ever? Or do you just never get skunks?
I don't generally post skunks because there's no content.
Yep. I'm the same way.
It's like there's no reason for the viewers to see it. They're like, wow, you set up decoys and now you're taking them down.
Yep.
I've posted some videos where like shoot one duck.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm pretty particular about what I post.
Do you you probably don't even keep track of like how many skunks you had last year?
Nope. I didn't have very many.
See, I started counting my skunks differently to reduce the number of skunks because it was just starting to wear on me.
Yeah. I think skunks are more of a Mississippi flyway and Atlantic flyway than they are a Central flyway thing. There's always a bird somewhere in the Central flyway.
Well, I'm very selective about where I go. So, like last season, my old hotspots were garbage. So I had to go elsewhere and hunt a lot of geese in private land. So, like my old public land duck spots, they were trash. And so if I went there, I'd probably get skunked. So I try to plan ahead and really scout things out. And I've got a lot of connections too at this point to where, I've got friends all around. I ask them and they say, hey man, come hunt with us. We got a good spot. Okay. I don't have anything else to do.
Yeah. I definitely had quite a few hunts that were skunks, unfortunately. But like I've had certain times of the year, like around Christmas, we had like a week off work, and it was one of like the worst times of the year for hunting. And I'm like, well, I'm still just gonna go. I don't care, because I'd rather get skunked than not go. But it just, it sucks when you have periods like that.
I think Go ahead, Matt.
It's always, at least for me, it's like, whenever you're like, I don't really want to go, I'm tired, I want to sleep in, whatever, and then you don't go, and you're like, man, I could have probably got a limit. Like you just I feel like I always end up regretting it if I never go. So I always end up going at least for a couple hours.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like the biggest compliment for me as a content creator would be able to make like interesting skunk content. Because like if you look at people like Steve Ranella, like he like quite frequently posts hunts where he doesn't kill anything, and they're still really interesting to watch. I mean, granted, a lot of his stuff is big game, which is a little bit different than waterfowl, but I think if you can make really good, interesting skunk content, that would probably be like the biggest compliment for me.
That's a good point, and that's something I should probably improve upon. But it's so difficult to be in that mindset of the hunt's not going well, but I still need to make the video positive and be positive in it and somehow get some content out of it. But the thing that's different about big game and waterfowl is that with waterfowl, you get up, you go set your decoys, brush your blind, and you wait. And it's that, if you don't get enough content while you're setting up, you know, then you're screwed.
Yeah.
Or
Hmm.
it's hard to get a good length of video to post. Sometimes my skunk videos, I go back through and try and edit them and see how they turn out, but they're only like 3-4 minutes long.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would definitely agree with kind of that assessment, because it's like you said with like big game, it's almost they're on a journey. Like they walk from one place to that place, and then they can say what they saw, what they did from point A to point B, and they're like, okay, and now we're going to try this to see if we can make it happen. Then they go from point A to point B again, and it's a story. But like with the waterfowl, it's just like you go to the blind, you sit there, and it's like, we didn't see any birds. We're going to sit here until we don't see birds again, and then I'll update you again in an hour. And so then it's like you said, you have to have, especially like a solo hunt, it's almost impossible to have a solo hunt skunk.
It is difficult.
Yeah. Now, if you're
So-
Elliot and you have Danny Boy trying to blow up cans of soup with shotgun shells in the fire, then there's your content.
Yeah. So, talking about solo hunts here, you guys all have used the kayaks, the 119 Solo Sportsman, right?
Yep.
Yep.
How do you guys like to use it?
I use mine for transport mainly. I tried shooting out of it, and I can't shoot from that laying down position. I don't like using layout blinds. I just don't like shooting from that position. So I use mine mainly as transport, tuck it back into cattails or weeds or branches or wherever I'm at, and then I'll just stand in the marsh or have my marsh seat and make a little temporary blind that way.
Does everybody in Nebraska get to be as picky as you?
I don't know. No, most of them have pit blinds. They can just, fry up bacon or a boat blind like you.
I'm just giving you a
I
hard
use
time.
mine. I found mine to be. I mean, I use mine all season, but I found mine to be the most effective. Or I found I was most appreciative of the 119 when I was doing dragons or had to paddle a long ways. I really like how the kayak paddled. I really like the lightweight of it. And personally, I don't have enough gear where I really ever had trouble with the weight capacity, but there's definitely could be issues there if you need a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I use it for transport at this point. I tried it with my dog, but it's just the weight capacity thing is an issue for me. But adding a sled to it definitely helps, because you can take decoys and everything behind it, pulling it behind it with a jet sled. But still, for me, it ends up being transport just because of the dog issue. Because I mean, I love hunting with my dog. It's kind of hard to choose between him and doing a layout hunt. But I definitely want to try that style out, doing the layout. I got the redhead layout blind. I'm planning to attach it this off season and use it during season. But also I was thinking about as far as the weight capacity is the only thing that's holding me back from doing that a lot more.
What about you, Josh?
The 119 is good in certain situations for me. So I've really enjoyed fishing out of it. It's a really good boat to get out there and move quick along the water and go fishing. But for duck hunting, if you're using it to hunt out of, it can be pretty tight, especially with the redhead kayak blind on it. I've never done it with just the seat. I don't feel comfortable just sitting in a kayak and hunting out of it with no hide. So from my point, I use it with the blind. And with the blind, it gets pretty cramped. I mean, I'm only 5'10", 200 pounds. So I'm not a super giant guy. But for me, when I've got my waders on and the gun and all the gear, which I pack pretty light in the kayak, just gun, calls, and shells pretty much, it gets cramped and it's tight. It's doable, but I use the Topwater 120 with the redhead kayak blind, and that is a much better hunting experience for me. It holds a lot more weight. It's got like a 450, 500 pound weight capacity. I can load that thing up with 2.5 dozen decoys, and it works really well. But the 119, if you're in a situation where you're trying to, hop dikes, get way back in there, take a dozen decoys, it is a really good option for you. If you're wanting something super light, you got to carry it in a little ways. It's got its pros for sure, but if you're using it as a layout boat to hunt out of, there's better options.
I call it my adventure
Okay.
boat because, like you said, I mean, if you want to go on an adventure and you don't know where you're going and what you're going to run into, that's the boat you want to have. You want to have with you.
For sure,
Yeah.
It is the adventure boat.
Yeah, it's a good way. I use it on this here recently, last couple weeks. I started fishing this little stream, and it's like super shallow. Nobody else is on it. There's tons of down logs, so I got it portage over just gravel bars and portage over down logs and everything. And like you said, it's perfect for that because it's so light. I mean, you don't even think about it when you get out in portage and pull it and put it over a log. And yeah, it just zips across the water. Super fun.
Yeah, I mean, it only weighs 54 pounds.
Yeah.
I would love to see a version of the 119, which I don't know anything about how it would paddle, but a little bit shorter, a little bit wider, and with a square stern. I think that would be just about a perfect duck boat if you could up the weight capacity a little bit.
So like a 10-foot John boat.
Yeah, basically, except in kayak version.
With a mud motor.
Okay, we've got a couple questions backlogged here, so we want to just do some like lightning round answers and kind of knock these out.
Sure.
Favorite place to hunt in Canada? Never hunted in Canada. What about you guys?
Nope.
British Columbia.
Lake St. Clair.
Okay.
I've never hunted in Canada.
The water.
Either.
Me neither.
Water doesn't freeze in those breathables or bring water into the boat blind.
No.
No. Okay. Opinions on water swatting. Now we can take a second off it, I guess.
Do it.
It's the easiest way to shoot triples.
I don't
I
care what
cannot-
anybody says.
I've tried jumping them off the water. I've tried water swatting them, and I found that they get crippled a lot more when you jump them off the water and try to shoot them in the back.
Yeah. It drives me nuts when YouTubers just yell at the ducks over and over, like for like 30-second to a minute long stretches, only to miss.
I give them a chance. I
Yeah.
If they land in the spread, I give them a chance to get up, and then I smack them.
Yeah, I don't care if anyone water swats. I just personally like shooting them out of the air, but that's just me.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people. I do catch a lot of flack for that too on some of those videos. So
I had a hunt this last year. It was a solo hunt, and you wouldn't believe. Okay, so I literally tried to do that where you let the bird jump up. So I had 3 birds that landed in front of me. 3 birds landed. They're probably like 20 yards. And so I say, hey, and 2 of the birds jumped. The one that I aimed at didn't. So when the other 2 birds jumped up and started flapping their wings and getting off the water, I shot right in between them as the 3rd duck just sat there and didn't move, the one I was aiming at. And so I thought he jumped up with the other ones. And, yeah. So that was pretty embarrassing.
okay. Hunting puddlers, and you can take 6 decoys. What would you take and why?
6 mallard decoys because they're the most common duck in North America.
And a jerk rig. A jerk rig will make a big difference with 6 decoys.
Yeah, the ultimate spreader, right? So,
Yep, motion ducks.
I'd probably do mallard drake feeders, to be specific.
I'm gonna go
Or
with
you could
a mallard drake and a mallard hen and 4 coots.
6 mallard hens, make it look like a little bachelorette party. Every drake in the area code is going to be zooming in.
You really think ducks look down at the spread and they're like, those are only drakes, and I hear a quack, like, run, like.
Must be hunters.
Any of you guys without a dog plan on adding one?
Yes.
Ooh. Do we get to hear more about
yeah,
that?
Yeah, you got some details?
I want a dog by next spring.
Are you going to get one that's finished or get a pup?
I want a puppy. And I want an unconventional dog. I'll just put that out there.
Is it gonna? Let's see.
Labradoodle.
Let's see if we can guess. Is it gonna be a German wire hair?
Nope. You'll never
Golden
get.
retriever?
Nope.
Weimaraner.
Nope.
A
Silver
Chessie.
lab.
Nope.
A poodle, a retrieving
Nope.
poodle. I've seen those.
Nope.
Water
Mm-mm.
spaniel?
No.
American spaniel?
No.
Is it gonna be a retriever? German
It's a retrieving dog. Thing
loves
loves water.
water.
Loves water.
A lab.
Tolling retriever?
No. Let me give you a hint.
Newfoundland?
They're only brown.
Chocolate lab.
No, I don't want to.
Mastiff.
Nope.
Only brown. Phew.
A brown bear.
A bobcat.
That would be cool.
A falcon.
A boykin.
Yes.
Is
That
it a
is what
boykin?
I want.
Really?
Gonna shout out to Barrett and Jesse for helping me with that one.
Dude.
I thought I said
are-
boykin.
No, you said water spaniel. They're different.
Oh.
I want a boykin, and I think they are perfect for the style of hunting that I like to do with the kayak and all that. I mean, they only grow to be like 35, 40 pounds. They are duck retrieving fools. See, I always wanted a Springer Spaniel growing up. I fell in love with those dogs. I love them, but they don't duck hunt very well. But the Boykins do, and they're very similar to the Springer Spaniels. So
Don't the Boykins have like a big droopy face? Or am I thinking of a different dog?
you're thinking of a different dog.
Yeah. Boykins look like little. They have like super short, like
Oh, yeah.
long, skinny snouts.
They do look like a spaniel.
Yeah, they're Boykin Spaniel. So look into them. They're really cool dogs, and I can't wait to have one. But it's gonna take a lot of work.
Or is it gonna be an inside dog or outside?
I thought about it. It'll probably be an inside dog.
All right. I'm gonna
don't
show
want to take care
pictures
of
for
my
people
yard.
curious. This is what they look like. So, a pretty cool looking dog. Here's one with a dove.
If anybody knows who Scout was on Facebook, Scout was a Boykin.
Dude, if anybody breeds Boykins, let me know. Or if you know somebody that breeds Boykins, I'm in the market. Trying to find one.
Here's a Boykin with a pintail. I'm gonna show everybody again real quick.
Dude, they're cool dogs.
They are. There's some cool pictures of them.
I don't like them when they get the really long hair and it gets all curly and stuff, but when it gets cold out, they need that hair. Don't you think?
Yeah. Chief definitely
Yeah.
gets hairier.
Would it ice up though?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a concern with long-haired dogs or not.
I mean, they do on labs too, and they're not. They get longer hair in the season than they do in the summer, obviously. That's cool.
Well, Thomas, are you getting a dog soon?
Probably not soon, but I if I get one, I also kind of want to go. I want to get a golden retriever. I think that would be super cool to have as a duck dog. Like have literally the happiest duck dog ever. Like I want one of those goldens that just like rolls over. Like probably won't even be able to actually get him to retrieve ducks. He'll just be my blind buddy.
Yeah. So we got a question about how the Boykins retrieve honkers. I've heard that they actually do retrieve honkers. But
I gotta imagine they'd have some trouble with big honkers. I think lessers they can probably get their mouth on.
yeah, I don't know. We'll find out. But I
Yeah,
don't
that'll
know.
be fun to watch.
The thing is, everybody has a lab, right? Every duck hunter has a lab. It's a stereotype duck hunting dog. Everybody's got them, and I don't want to have that. Like I bounce back and forth between lab and Boykin, and I just think it'd be really cool to have something different. To where like you pull up to the boat ramp and you see this little fluffy-eared dog pop out, and it's 35 pounds. They're like, "You're retrieving ducks with that thing?" Hell yeah, I am. It'll put your lab to shame.
I mean, like you said, I think it would fit perfectly for the kayak thing. I hadn't even thought about that when it comes to a
Mhm.
dog. Like, if you
Yeah.
want a kayak dog, I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. We always say, you know, have a small lab, but if you can get a dog that's smaller than a lab, that's even better.
Yeah, yeah. Like Jordan was saying about Chief fitting in the 119.
He weighs 100 pounds.
He's got a big dog.
Yeah.
He's huge. And so is Rocky.
Rocky's
Tightest dog.
giant.
Yeah.
You guys both have huge dogs.
Mm-hmm. That's the American lab right there. American labs are huge. Like British labs, well, not all American labs are huge, but like a lot of British labs are more like 50 pounds, which
Mm-hmm.
you know I didn't really pick on the size, but that is definitely something I'm gonna consider next time around because of so how much weight capacity it takes up. Here's a question. Someone said they heard TikTok. I saw that up there. I don't know where it's at now. TikTok's going to be banned tomorrow. What do you guys
For
feel
real?
about that?
Finally.
Who knows? I have no idea if it's actually real or not.
Take
Uh.
Jordan's popularity.
I'll be sad to see it go. I've been doing it for
I
like
haven't
33 days and I'm almost at 9K. So it's like, honestly, it's just been a lot of fun to create on there. It's like opened my creative juices or something. I don't know. It's just really, I think it's a really fun app to create on. So I'll be sad to see it go if it gets banned, but you know, what can you do? Nothing.
I mean, inevitably, there's going to be an American company that fills its place. So I'm looking forward to that.
If they ban
I
it.
miss Vine.
See,
Yeah.
Vine got bought by Facebook and it just disappeared. That was the American version of it, right?
Kind of.
Kind of shorter videos, though. You weren't allowed to do whatever length you wanted.
You had like 7 seconds.
Wasn't it 15?
Mhm.
No?
No, 7. I think
Jeez.
that was the
Yeah.
downfall of Vine. Which they have Dub Smash now, which they're saying is supposed to be basically TikTok. But yeah, I'd be very surprised if it's not gone by tomorrow.
Darn.
Okay. Favorite way of scouting in a completely new area, you know, nothing about fast.
Go. Check it out.
I'd say probably go online first, get aerials of where you're even thinking of going, find aerials of your public areas, and then put boots on the ground. Go early in the morning, mid-morning, and then late afternoon, evening to see where the birds are going or coming back from. Probably be the quickest route. Or just follow the birds. I mean, you could just drive around, wait for the flights, follow, you know, where they go and when they go back. Depends how much time you want to put into it.
Let's do one more. We're hitting the hour mark.
Okay, here's a good one. Thoughts on if Canada doesn't open the border, how will that affect the season in the States?
I don't think it'll affect it very much at all, honestly. I mean, some people, yeah, they travel to Canada, but that's really like a small percentage of the total hunts that happen in the year.
See, I saw something about this on Facebook. I think it was today even. People in North Dakota are already putting out things like, if you usually hunt Canada and are coming to North Dakota this year, you know, be respectful of all landowners because they have that private landowner deal up there. So,
Well, they're
people in
saying
North
that
Dakota, sounds like are a little concerned.
they were saying it the other way. Like if you're coming from Canada because you can't hunt in Canada, because it sounds like Canada's not going to have a season or something like that.
Really?
That's the way I read it. Maybe I read it wrong.
I
just
haven't heard
closing
anything
it
about
down, and the guys that couldn't go up there
Maybe I just read it wrong.
were just gonna hunt North Dakota, but I don't know.
I would hope Canada's residents would be up in arms if they tried to do away with their waterfowl season. But like up there in the
Yeah.
real parts, like it's crazy. If you look at there's like 7,000 Canadian duck hunters in all of Saskatchewan. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can't go to Canada this year to hunt, I'd recommend Indiana.
Yeah. There's something about the Mississippi Flyway, especially like the 10th ranked state in the Flyway, that's just like, it's just awesome. So,
It's really going to hurt some outfitters though if they keep that border closed. It's going to be
Yeah.
very, very bad for some services.
yeah. All right.
Any final questions? Get them in before we jump off.
Looks like a good place to wrap her up.
Yeah. Appreciate it, guys. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up and go subscribe to our page. Check out the Facebook and Instagram, the Flyways Collective. And stay tuned for some more awesome content.
Heck yeah. Alrighty.
Thanks for watching, guys.
See you later, fellas.